for the show.
Public speaking, for many of us, it's a pretty frightening idea. If you're a chronic stutterer, it can be impossible. More than 40,000 Kiwis stutter. Tonight, Emma Keeling follows two of them on an intensive program where they must face their demons to find their voice.
The show.
Every day is full of fear for Rahana and Robin.
Excuse me, can you please...
Teasing, frustration, anger. They live with a stutter. But could this be the moment all that changes?
My name is Robin Walkden. I'm 23 and I live in Christchurch. Are you prepared for the cold?
When Robin first learned to talk, she stuttered.
In my mind, I think I should just be able to move my mouth and breathe out, and the words should come out and make sense that should happen. But it just doesn't.
Every day, she must confront her greatest fear, speaking.
Okay, so we need a new list.
Robin has a science degree but is packing produce in a supermarket. It means less contact with people, less chance of being laughed at. Are you hurt by it?
Most of the time I just brush it off, but sometimes I'll go home and have a wee complain or a wee cry if I'm having a bad day.
How was primary school and high school for you?
I was
Oops, a couple of things that I find really interesting, and that is that Robin and Rahana, you'll hear Rahana soon, but Robin is working in a grocery store, and there's a lot of people who have had stutters who have taken kind of the path of least resistance, maybe because they thought that they couldn't do certain things because of their stutter. Like, for example, I was a horse trainer and I used to say, well, the horses don't care if I stutter. And another person I know who wanted to do an engineering degree decided mechanical engineering over civil engineering because he didn't think he could say the word civil when they were signing up.
I was never teased in primary school, which I am so lucky with, because I have friends who stutter and they talked about being teased all the time.
Rahana was one of those kids. What have been some of the worst times?
Just people laughing at me. But probably one which is probably the worst for me was when I was about 9. I was doing a talk in front of the whole class, and the whole class just laughed.
It was the moment she realised she was different.
Hey, who's that? Who's that?
Married with 3 kids, Rahana Diananda Graham started stuttering at 3 years old.
My mother stammers and my sister stammers, so we've got quite a strong family history of females who stammer.
So you want to read that book?
When she's with her kids, Rahana says she doesn't stutter.
And what does he see?
But out of her comfort zone, the tension takes hold.
It's kind of like a tightening of the throat, tightening of the stomach, and my jawline hurts. And it's a slight bit of tension. It's almost like a spasm for me, and it's like
I really loved this video because Robin and Rahana share some stories that we don't hear all the time, even on stuttering videos, as in the physical gagging, the tension, what's going on, and also that bit about teasing. Now, I never got teased, but of course, over the years, you have had some people who have had a laugh at a stutter or a block or something like that. Does it bother me? I don't think it bothers me, but who would know how that's really affecting you, and maybe whether it's embedding something or if it's telling you that, hey, you are different and that people out there will always react like that. But it's not always the case, because with some other things that people have that aren't perfect, a lot of that has changed in society. And I think there's a changing of the way that stuttering is perceived as well.
It's like a shortening of the breath, where I just can't feel like I can get the air out.
And what goes through your mind?
How am I going to get through it? Like, when is it going to stop? And probably, what's that person thinking about me?
Rahana and Robin have tried a variety of speech therapies with limited success.
Family album. Indeed. Robin, I mean, she's smart, but people think she's stupid because she speaks funny.
Years of frustration have built up, making change very hard.
She had her first speech therapist at 3 and got very frustrated. And actually, on one occasion, she spat at the therapist, which was very embarrassing for me, because that wasn't her nature. She was a sweet little girl.
Her parents and big sister Erin know what she's truly capable of.
She's lost out in a lot of opportunities in terms of her career because of her stuttering. Because it's difficult to communicate with people, and I think a lot of people actually feel scared to talk to her because they don't know how to respond.
For Robin, even at her flat amongst friends, she must always concentrate.
Remove that pot over there.
Does it hold you back from meeting people, from meeting guys?
Yeah, it does. I won't go out with a guy who I don't already know, which is kind of a pain.
Before every sentence, a complicated series of thoughts and decisions are made.
At the start of a sentence, I'll know which words I'm going to stutter on and which words I'm not. So then I'll just arrange my sentence so that I can leave those words out.
Robin is an overt stutterer. It's obvious and pronounced.
The boardwalk. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Whereas Rahana is a covert. She will do anything to hide her stutter.
So I was very much a covert, probably still am sometimes, unless my speech is going really well. Robin, by the way, is no longer working in the grocery store. She has a veterinary degree. Had to think about that one. Veterinary degree. I still think that's wrong. So that's me. Is that me stuttering? I don't know. Veterinary degree. Oh, I'm going to have to practice that. But I think that's one of the things where sometimes people who stutter have difficulty moving from one syllable to the next, even when it's really slowly. So another thing that was interesting in there that I've only just picked out is that perhaps there were some people that were scared to talk to somebody who has a stutter. I haven't noticed that. But of course, if you have a stutter, would you notice that other people picked up on it and aren't too sure how to take it? She has met a guy now, so she's obviously got past her issues there. And the really fascinating thing was about the complicated thought process. Robin's basically saying that she substitutes words that she thinks she's going to stutter on to change it for words that she thinks that she won't stutter on. A lot of us have done that who have a stutter.
Personally, will avoid certain words or certain situations and don't speak up as much as I'd like to.
Rahana's an interior designer. She hasn't allowed her stutter to rule her life, but it's left a mark. Have you felt shut off from the world at times?
And I don't know whether it's how I perceive other people treating me, or whether it's, you know, whether it's all in my head or whatever else. But it's hard to ignore people's looks or their comments.
She finds one-on-one meetings the worst.
Hi, I'm Rihanna, sorry.
Hello,
Hi.
Rihanna. Pleased to meet you.
And there's no escape from that in her new role as a property developer.
So on the building site, you know, how easy is it for you to deal with all the tradies?
No, I'm normally fine actually. Like the guys are pretty good at. I'm waiting for me to say something.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, thank you.
They cope, but it's exhausting. Rihanna and Robin have reached a point where they're ready to try something new. So they've signed up to the Maguire Program, a course designed by a recovering stutterer.
Just to clarify, if you're watching this, you may be forgiven for thinking that they're going to switch over to me and I designed it. No, I did not design the Maguire program. Dave Maguire of Santa Barbara, California, USA, designed the Maguire program.
We treat the whole person, not just the stuttering mechanism itself to create fluency.
Rob Woly is the regional director of the program in New Zealand.
We deal with the psychological side, which is perhaps even more important than the physical side of the speech mechanics.
Are you a stutterer?
I'm a stutterer. Once a stutterer, always a stutterer.
Rob did the program in 2007.
How long have you not stuttered for?
Hardly stuttered a word in the last 2 years.
The course takes 4 days. It's hard to believe that's enough to undo a lifetime of mental torment.
Well, I wish you good luck in the course.
Aw, thanks.
Cheers.
Come back.
But what raises hope in Robin creates fear for Rihanna.
This course will probably open up a big can of worms, which I haven't really had to open up in the past. So that's going to be hard.
So will the past continue to control the future?
Are you nervous or excited or like freaking out?
I think because I know nothing, I'm okay about it. If I knew something about it, it'd probably be worse.
There's no magic pill here. Basically, your entire life, you in a way have trained yourself to stutter.
They start with the hardest part.
My name's Robin Walkden.
It's Rihanna Dynandogram.
Your name is usually the most difficult word to say if you're a stutterer.
Why?
I think there's so much emotion attached to your name, it's your identity, but it's also from a technical point of view, you can't substitute your name.
So there's a few interesting points there, is that I say once a stutterer, always a stutterer, because in my reality, you need to be working hard on your speech most of the time, and at some stage you can rely on confidence, but you always need a little bit of technique there to get in a good rhythm, to keep the confidence up, and also to keep up muscle memory so that you are doing the right thing more often than not. And I know that in this day and age, a lot of people prefer the phrase people who stutter or person who stutters, and that's fine for them. I've just found it a lot simpler with the people that I talk to based on their understanding, just to say I stutter or I have stuttered. But one of the things that I did do at one stage is that I moved from saying I stutter to I used to stutter. And we'll probably have a video on that one day, but it basically meant that I felt that I'd reached a stage at that time when I was putting in the effort and feeling really good about things that I had moved on. But if you get in a situation where you let it go and you don't cancel some poor technique, you have a few little blips, you have maybe a change of life circumstance or a lot of stress, and you allow a few stutters to go unchecked, then it can come back. That's absolutely sure. I love one phrase that Emma Keeling, who was the reporter who followed us through the 4 days, said, I can't remember exactly how she phrased this, I wrote it down, but it was, will you let the past control your future, or something like that. And I think that's a question that you have to ask yourself. Will you let your past control your future? Because as you can see, you can get really good speech, but you can also get ambushed. You're going to have a few blips, just like I had before on veterinary. I'm going to practice that later on the show.
You're willing to give up who you are to become what you really could be.
The tutors are all recovering stutterers.
Let go of all the previous therapy you've had and start afresh.
Breathing technique is the key to gaining more power and time.
You've got to keep focusing those full nostril breaths.
Then they have certainty about what they're going to say and how they're going to say it.
One of the key fundamentals of this program, do not avoid. We would rather have you speaking turbulently, at least at the start, but saying what you wanted to say.
By the first morning, they can say their name.
Robin. He's laughing. I'm not laughing.
The same exercises over and over. It's demanding.
Edit.
Feeling my way through the darkness, guided by a beating heart.
But after...
I'll just interrupt there. So one of the key things there is repetition is the mother of learning. So the same exercises over and over and over. And that's definitely what you do. But when you're changing the person who you're doing those exercises with, when you're changing the groups, when you're changing a little bit about the environment or the scenario that you're in, then it's all new learning. It's all pushing out your comfort zones in some certain way. It's giving you that experience of having success. But it is true about sometimes you have to do not avoid. You have to go into situations where you feel you're going to stutter, just to realize that nothing really bad happened. Nothing bad happened. And Scott, who was the main instructor on this course, said a phrase that he used to say quite a lot at the start of each course, and that is, are you willing to give up who you are to become who you could be?
After just 48 hours, they're set a terrifying test, stepping out of the security of the room to talk to the public.
I wish I could just go up and strike up a conversation with some random on the street, but I'm way too scared to do that because of what they'll think of me.
Today, she won't just talk to one, she must make contact with 100 strangers.
Can you please tell me which bus I need to get to the North Shore? Do you have the time? This Queen Street? How I can get to Rittima?
How do you feel?
Good, good. It's not that hard. I should start asking some more interesting questions. What colour are your undies?
Part of this task is to admit they have a stutter.
Great, thank you.
Rahana has spent most of her life hiding it.
Know what you're going to say? Put you in your mind?
One of the graduates supports her as she faces the truth.
I'm just trying to get through this.
Yep.
Sorry to disturb you, but I'm Rahana Dynand and I'm doing an intensive speech therapy course this weekend. Cheers. Yeah, thank you.
That was great.
Is that good?
Yeah.
There have been so many breakthroughs in the last 3 days. Now, their greatest test, something most of us couldn't do, speaking in public.
3 days ago, I wouldn't have been here, and I am a recovering stutterer. I'm really excited.
The transformation is unbelievable.
Hello everybody, my name is Rahana Dainanda, and I'm really proud of what we've all achieved, and I'm happy to be standing here and talking to you all.
Finally, it's Robin's turn. Remember, this is how she spoke only 3 days ago.
My name's Robin Walkden. Robin Walkden is my name. 3 days ago, I would never have dreamt that I would be standing here telling a crowd of people, a crowd of randoms, my name. But now as I talk, I'm surprised at myself of how I'm not stuttering.
That have done the Maguire Program and
Can you quite believe the change in your fellow students?
No, it's been amazing. Like, almost different people. And what's been so amazing is like unleashing personalities and lives, you know. It's given them hope and ways to connect with people and just confidence in themselves.
Do you feel it's really helped you?
I think it's given me a tool set or some direction to kind of control it.
They're not cured, but life's no longer something to hide from. It's to live for. How do you feel about yourself now?
I feel like I'm a whole different person. It's freeing. Like, I can do what I want. If I want to go and flirt with a guy in a bar, I can go and flirt with a guy in a bar.
Watch out, Christchurch.
I'm coming to get you.
And Robin hasn't wasted any time. Apparently she chatted up some bloke on the flight home, and I'm sure she'll thank us for telling you that. For more info on the Maguire program, you can check out our Facebook.
So that concludes that. One of the things that I want to point out is how Robin uses good technique at the end. The temptation is to get all your words out in a hurry and say whatever it is that you want to say without taking a breath, And a lot of the time, if your confidence is high, you can do that. But the key is that if you keep doing that, if you keep trying to speak how you have always spoken, you'll get what you've always got, which is basically stuttered speech. One of the things about repetition is if you run into a difficult word, a word that twisted your tongue up like veterinary, like that, then just practice it over and over and over, because otherwise you'll come to that word and you'll go, oh, I stutter when I say this, and you'll get probably blocking repetitions somewhere on that word or whatever, but sound it out, veterinary. I wrote that down while that video was playing. Another thing is about disclosure, being honest with who you are. So through this video tonight, I've had a couple of moments where I've thought, I'm not quite there. That was just one before when I said thought. Now, I don't know what they come across, because sometimes I don't feel like I've stuttered, but sometimes I watch a video back and it looks like I've had a little block or a little repetition. But at the end of the day, it's how you feel mentally. But you're going to feel a lot better mentally is that if you put in the work and you are very diligent at thinking, well, if I wasn't completely happy with that, then let's have another go and see how well I can say it. So one of the anti-parts to using technique is sometimes using a lot of intonation, because you really get your articulators moving and the highs and lows and the fasts and slows. And that's fine. And that means that you're going to be maybe very expressive, particularly if you're delivering a public speech. But if you're practicing, the key to practicing, I believe, is to practice without intonation. It's to practice basically almost monotone. You don't want to do anything that makes it easier for you to speak, because the aim is to use good technique, which is inhale, speak off the top of the breath, pause, and relax. Or should I say release it? I haven't done this for so long. Inhale, speak off the top of the breath, release, and pause. 4 steps. I'll say that again, repetition. Inhale, speak off the top of the breath, release, and pause. So obviously tonight we had a few technical difficulties before, and you'll see it at the start of this video that the sound doesn't work. So all of these things are things that have put me in a mental or physical state, probably mental state, where I'm not prepared or prepared as well as I could be. And it would be easy to say, well, that's a terrible example there, but it's not. This is real life. Sometimes you get rattled, sometimes you get flustered, but you can still communicate. And when you get in those situations where the resistance is coming against you, where the difficulty is just ramped up a notch, those are the situations where you're going to learn the most from. I'm doing these live so you can see warts and all, but the fact of the matter is, for a long, long time, I did not practice my speech, and it dropped down to a level where I was a little bit unhappy with, but I thought, well, let's just let it go so that I can almost remind myself of where I was and then walk back up the mountain. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing through these videos. It's great practice for me, and hopefully you get to learn something. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the comment section below. If you got any value from this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see future videos, because I'm going to be doing one on stuttering every single day, and they're all live, warts and all, then please hit the subscribe button. Until next time, have an awesome day.